joined by Luke, aka the Deep Voice Man, a life coach, voice actor, and speaker who turned what people casually complimented into a calling. From Wall Street to wellness, Luke helps people find the simplest path out of 9 to 5 hamster wheel into purpose led living. So, what's the true cost of your comfort zone? And is escape really as simple as it sounds? Let's find out. Welcome, Luke.
Welcome. Thank you so much for having me here. It's a pleasure. It's an honor to be here as a guest. Thank you.
Thank you for your kind words, and I'm really honored to have you on my show. So, Luke, you have built a personal brand by embracing your natural gifts. What was the turning point when you realized that the 9 to 5 grind is no longer fit your soul?
So I guess I'll take this story back to the beginning just real fast. My parents immigrated to the United States from Haiti, and I was born and raised in Manhattan. I've been I actually went to Catholic school from first grade all the way to college. Then I went to business school at Baruch College, earned my MBA. So my parents had big dreams for me. They wanted me to obviously get a very good, high quality, high paying job. But ever since I was in college, I always had issues with the whole idea of working 40, 50 hours a week. I was always looking for a way out, a way to start my own business, a simple kind of home-based business, nothing too complex, something that would give me time freedom. And so, first I started off with MLMs, but MLMs they have a high failure rate. They're not the best option. But I tried so many things and I failed at so many things. You name it, like casino gambling, rank and rent, drop shipping. But I finally, it dawned on me that I should build a personal brand because throughout my life, I'd always been complimented on my deep, rich, melodious voice and I had a coworker who came to me and said, he sat right next to me and he said, you should do something with it,
Yeah.
and I kept hearing that over and over again. So I decided, to look for ways to look to monetize and to
Mm.
get this into something lucrative. So I looked into voice acting. It didn't appeal to me too much, but then I started my own podcast called the Deep Voice Man Show, and it's people have listened to it in all six continents, all 50 states, United States, 110 plus countries. I have my own book out called "The Life Lessons for the Deep Voice Man." It's about my lessons I've learned from my life experience, from the guests on my show, from all the personal development literature that I've consumed and devoured throughout my entire life.
Mm.
And it's just something that I've been building, and it keeps it expanding.
Yeah, yeah. And was it more a mental shift or a logistical leap that made it possible?
Sure. So I guess it was more of an emotional, and I guess you can say mental as well.
Mm.
And logic also played a role because I had to figure out a way for it to make sense. So, but it was more of, I would say emotional, and in the sense that I knew, I didn't want to give up. I had to figure
Mm.
this out,
Yeah.
and now I help others to figure it out as a coach.
Mm.
And nothing is more rewarding than that. Just to help people
Yeah.
earn their time freedom as well.
Mm.
So I talk a lot about that in the book too, about
Mm.
how the internet is the great equalizer. Um, it's sort of has democratized and decentralized, you know, opportunity for everyone across the globe. So it's
Mm.
just an amazing thing. And obviously you have AI coming out. So that's even another bonus right there. So I would say it was more of a emotional shift. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. That's correct. And I think I've really made a mark that you have understood your skill that you have such a great voice, and you have made that mark with that. So that will, I think, inspire people a lot. And also, I will recommend all the listeners to read your book so that they can know more about it. Uh, so, look, you coach others on personal development and freedom. What's the first myth that people need to unlearn about quitting their job?
Sure. So I think what people need to understand, obviously, when they leave the whole 9 to 5 world, it's tough because they've been so used to it. They've been so conditioned to think this is the only way. So I would say what I first teach people is that obviously you want to sell something. I teach folks, to sell something that is priced correctly, that will scale. I teach folks how to be a coach, how to become a paid speaker, and to charge what they're worth. And so that is so important. And I talk to folks about how to
Yeah.
build events, webinars, email lists, and whatnot.
Mm.
And we come up with a plan, and then we execute,
Yeah.
and so that's sort of how it goes. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. That's wonderful. Um, and what internal work needs to happen before they even think about the how?
Sure. So that's a great question because in many ways the mindset is more important than any technique or strategy. Really, there's several different strategies, but the mindset part is very important. So
Yeah.
I have folks leverage the power of affirmations and
Mm,
visualizations, have them create a dream board,
mm,
and meet with others who've done the same thing. This part is very important because obviously I always tell people to seek inspiration from those who are just like them, who've accomplished what they want to accomplish, but even better, to seek inspiration from those who have less capabilities, advantages, and talents than them, and and see how they made it as well, and to learn from them to be inspired by those folks, those trailblazers.
yes, 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 yes. That's a wonderful thing, and thanks for naming that so clearly. And many people romanticizes the idea of working for themselves, but it is entrepreneurship always the answer, or can freedom take some another forms?
Sure. So obviously, for many people, the job that they have can be very rewarding. So they don't necessarily have to leave. Obviously,
Yeah.
it's not for everyone to have their own kind of online business, but if they really enjoy their job, they can stick with that. Obviously, they can do something else to supplement their income.
Yeah.
The key though is that what a lot for many folks is that unfortunately many are unhappy with their jobs. I always
Mm.
tell people this sad statistic that Monday morning is the most common time that people die of heart attacks,
Yeah.
and it's because of the stress of work. So and many people would like to just to be able to stay home to raise their children and also to have the time freedom to do things that they'd like to do, obviously spend more time with family, but also to travel the world and spend time on the hobbies that they enjoy. So but for there are some who don't mind working 40, 50 hours a week if it's a job they love. And for them, it's perfectly fine if they stick with that.
Yeah. Yes, yes, I do agree with that. And I have a question with that too, that if someone wants more peace and not more hustle, what should they do?
Sure. So if someone wants more peace,
Mm.
but less hustle,
Yeah.
yeah, obviously it's very important that they understand the concept that money is not tied to time. It's possible to make more while working even less, particularly with the technologies available to scale your income. I teach folks that it's possible to engage in group coaching, right? To provide group coaching, to build, or they could build a membership site, which brings in recurring income. And so these are scalable opportunities. uh, which where they can earn more money, but they don't have to increase their time
Yeah.
commitment. So there's many different ways to do that. They can also build an email list.
Mm,
So money and time does not have to be connected, and so it's important that folks understand that and they leverage this so they can have more peace and less hustle.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And that's such a big thing, and that's such important distinction that freedom doesn't always wear the same outfit. And thanks for naming that so clearly. And let's talk about fear. Like, what is the most common fear that keeps people tethered to jobs they hate?
Sure. I would say the fear that people have is the fear that it won't work.
Mm,
What I usually talk to people is that the worst type of pain is regret. Nothing hurts like regret. The number one regret of dying folks is that they didn't live the life that they wanted. They lived the life that others thought they should live. And I tell folks that, you don't want to end up there. Obviously there's two types of pain. There's
mm,
the fear that you have to overcome and deal with as you branch out, and then there's the pain that comes with regret,
mm,
and that is far worse. And so what I usually tell people to kind of ease their fears is obviously you want to have a savings of about maybe 6 to 12 months
mm,
as you go about doing this, learning and applying. So now you have a cushion, and then you have
yes,
more than enough time to figure it out. Um, as a, you can then become a coach. And I always tell people the first one's the hardest, but
mm,
after you get the first one, it gets a little easier in terms of
yeah,
getting a
yeah,
client as a
mm,
coach. And so, you want to get to the level where you reach the what I call the 5 R's. It's where you have a business coming in from reviews, repeat business from customers, referrals.
mm,
You have a strong reputation and
yes,
and reminders. Meaning reminders are like emails and Facebook posts that go out to people,
mm,
and also referrals. So the thing is, over time it gets easier. It's only tough. It's only really tough in the beginning, but as time goes on, client acquisition gets easier and easier and easier. It's only very
yes,
difficult
yes,
in the
yes, that's
first
true.
one
And I
to
think
2 years.
yes, I absolutely agree with you. And I think there are many things to do, and our listeners will get an idea that what they really want to do. And many of our listeners will maybe suppressing their inner thought, and but after listening to this podcast, maybe they will get the courage to come up and to do what they really wants to do. And how did you personally move through that fear without falling into survival mode?
Sure. In that sense, I kind of got lucky, um, a little bit lucky. So what happened was that I actually got laid off. So I didn't have to necessarily choose to leave my job, right? So it was made
Yeah.
for me. I thought to myself, now I got laid off. I had a lot of savings. I also had unemployment insurance coming in. So the time is now. I was actually pretty happy about it. I got laid off. So I had the
Yeah.
free
Yeah.
time and I said to myself, I'm never going back. I'm going to nail this down. And I did. And then I'm never stepping my foot back into the 9 to 5 world, so to speak. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think from this, one thing comes to my mind that if something happens, that happens for a reason. So we might temporarily feel that, oh, why this only happens to me, but maybe that is coming with some great news afterwards. Like you said that you have been laid off, but because of that, today you are here and whatever you have achieved. So I think maybe that day you felt a little bad, but today you have achieved so much. Uh, if I'm right?
Yes, that's absolutely correct.
Yeah,
And so, sometimes when one door closes, a window opens. I
yeah,
think you implied there. So that is so true that things happen for a reason. And this was obviously a blessing in disguise. Yes.
yes, yes, definitely. And You speak, coach, and sing with a powerful voice, but your real powers seems to be in your message. What do you want listeners to remember about the choice to live life on their own terms?
Sure. So obviously, you only live one life. I think
Yeah.
there was a famous quote by Confucius who said that we have two lives actually. The first life we normally have, and then the second life that starts when we realize we only have one, so to speak.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's interesting. I always it's one of my favorite quotes. And so it's very important that folks need to understand that time is their most valuable commodity.
Yes.
It's not something they should just give up to help someone else dream come to fruition
Mhm.
and help someone else become rich. They need to put themselves first. Um,
Yes.
and you need to want it so badly, just like you want water, air, and food, and realize that it's possible. And so that is really the key thing I think folks need to understand.
Yeah. Yeah. To prioritize ourselves, I think most of the time we forget that. We chase for other things, we chase for great money or maybe for a career, but we forget ourselves. That is something that we really need to focus on. And how can they start the journey today without overcomplicating it?
Sure. So that is a great question. What I tell folks is one of the best things they can start that won't take up too much of their time is
Yeah.
obviously they want to start saving money, and so important, but they should begin to write a book.
Okay.
So the thing is, a book is one of the best client acquisition tools out there. So they can just write maybe like a 200, 300 word essay every day. Doesn't have to be much. And then it starts to add up into a book. And of course, I always tell people to get their social media channels up and running.
Mm.
Post every day to help to build their brand. They could schedule out the post, so it doesn't have to be, you know, uh, once every day, but they could just have one day, 1 hour where they just have it all their content scheduled out. Very easy to do across the board. And I also suggest some folks to start their own podcast.
Okay.
Just like the one you have. It's a
Yeah.
great way to meet people,
Yes.
with great way to build your brand and build your authority. So they're just simple things like that. And of course, the ultimate way, initially in the beginning, I teach folks to break out is they should have a high ticket offer,
Yeah.
and be confident about selling at a high price.
Yes.
Understand that people will pay this price
Yes.
if you provide value, and that's what we teach folks.
Yeah. That is some great lessons, and I think our listeners will also learn from that, and that will help them too. So with that, thank you, Luke, for being here and for sharing such great insights with us. And for our listeners, Luke, remind us that the door out of the 9 to 5 isn't locked. It's just hidden behind fear, routine, and doubt. But when you trust your inner voice, literally and metaphorically, you begin to rewrite the script. If this sparked something in you, take a moment, journal, reflect, take the first step, and we'll be back soon. Till then, listen to Inner Peace Better Health.